We already got two.
We're only doing this with one?
Yeah, he's only doing it with one.
My inspiration for the idea to do this draft special was from my internship this summer with ESPN, in which I was privileged enough to be a part of their production of the 2010 NBA Draft. I thought it represented a great opportunity for our program to really strive to new heights and see what we could accomplish. One of the most important steps in the early going was to meet with Eric Kendall, who we decided very early on had the passion to be the show producer, and Mike Kyle, who we decided would also be the show director with his experience with one-on-one directing. And we really had that meeting to lay out the groundwork and put together a plan for the next 2 months of production. There are so many challenges with this production. First of all, it's a live broadcast, something One-on-One Sports has never done before. Live at Studio B in the Elon University School of Communications. Second of all, it's a 4 to 5 hour broadcast, and filling that time in an entertaining fashion is something that we've struggled with and worked very hard to achieve. And finally, bringing all these people together and making them learn things that they've never done before, from pre-produced elements to graphics, to research, is something that represented a real challenge for us, but also a tremendous opportunity. Stick around and check out the rest of the 2011 NFL Draft Special to see even more great behind-the-scenes action.
Welcome back to the second installment of One-on-One Sports' making of the Draft Special. Now that we've assigned tasks and made our pre-produced blocks, it's time to practice a live show. Before we perform our second of 2 rehearsals, we turn to Professor Max Sneggin, who has plenty of live television experience.
You need to be focused, especially if you do 3 hours worth of live television, right? It's super important to pay attention for that one moment that you might need to shine and get that shot with a camera.
After that talk, we tried our hand at live television. Well, our dress rehearsal didn't go without a hitch, but overall things went pretty well. We've learned a lot about the rigors of live television, and I think this will make the broadcast run more smoothly. Stick around and we'll show you what happens in the control room and the studio in the next edition of The Making of One-on-One's Draft Special.
There are countless individuals that go into making a live broadcast, but only a few are ever seen on air. Right now, we'd like to have you take a look at what goes on behind the cameras. The studio isn't just where anchors and analysts work. On draft night, we're going to be filling Studio B with engineers, cameramen, and stage managers.
The stage manager is the boss of that studio. So people coming in and out of the door, no way. So whoever that is the eyes and ears of the director of the studio, right? They're controlling everything that's going on in that studio.
It's up to the stage manager and the camera people to give me, the director, good footage to work with in the control room.
5 seconds.
Going to them in 5, 4, 3, 2, going to camera 2, and cue.
Back to the One-on-One Sports 2011 NFL Draft Special.
It's my job to coordinate in the control room and make sure everyone knows what's going on. It's up to everyone in the studio and control room to make sure the live broadcast goes smoothly. So while the people in front of the camera get all the glory, it's the people behind the camera that truly make a difference.
This draft, unlike any others. And the first one, of course, is the NFL lockout. We've been in the lockout for 62. Welcome to the final installment of the One-on-One Sports Behind the Scenes Draft Special. If you watched the whole program up to this point, you've seen how we've gone from conception to what you're watching right now. Now, while you've watched me and my fellow analysts on camera all night long, the hardest part of our job was over the moment we hopped on set. What's the toughest part of our job, you ask? Preparation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't just waltz into Studio B and expect to do an adequate job if we don't prepare. There are upwards of 70 players who could conceivably be drafted in the first round tonight, and we need to know everything about every last one of them if we expect to fill a 5-hour program. Learning the intricacies of those players, their strengths, and their weaknesses was the #1 concern we had in the early going of the draft production process. So we came up with a fun and simple way to test our knowledge throughout the process.
And talent, we got to start
cracking with talent. We're gonna do a couple things with you guys. The first and foremost is we're gonna be holding quizzes for knowledge on these different prospects and teams. But you really got to get after it, knowing what you need to know, because we have a lot of content we're trying to fill, but still the majority is going to be talking heads, and you got to know what you're talking about.
So every week in preparation for the draft, we do a talent quiz. So it's a 2-page long quiz, 10 questions, and they're pretty involved. It's anywhere from how many Big East players are in Josh Norris's second edition of our top 65 guys. That's Josh Norris right there. To name the top 5 outside linebackers in the draft. To how did Elon Smith do in his pro day? Stuff from all over the place that we need to be able to answer well in order to really prep and succeed on draft day. So there's 5 of us doing this. Josh dominates, I dominate as well, I would say, for these quizzes.
Like the second tier you dominate.
I dominate the second tier. But
just like the quarterback class, there's kind of tiers.
We'll see how this turns out. This concludes our series of the behind-the-scenes look at One-on-One Sports NFL Draft Special. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for tuning in to the production of the NFL Draft.